Alright, what do we got?
Evidence.
So this is the evidence related to today's Cadopian Embassy trial from Mr. Faraday's bag.
You mean the evidence bag that was on the table in lobby number 2, right?
Yes, finally. Now we can take a look at the evidence itself and not just data about them. Let's be sure to thoroughly examine them while we have the time.
Agreed. I want to take a good look at all the evidence from the embassy murder too.
And why is that?
Because I still don't fully understand what today's trial was about.
Don't put your crop at me just because you don't know something.
And don't you try to order me around just because Papa chose you today.
I see someone is still sore about not being picked by Mr. Von Karma.
It's also weird to see the knife up close.
So we have the knife, the gun, the envelope. And what's this organizer doing here? Oh, that's right, I completely forgot to tell you. About what, Your Honor? Found Mr. Faraday's personal organizer inside that bag of his. Detective Bad requested to be passed along to you. He said it would help the investigation. Detective Bad said that?
What a strange stroke of luck.
Well, never look a gift horse in the mouth. You might as well flip through it too. I won't rest until I've expected everything. Alright. Guessing this is a rundown of today's trial.
Well, I wasn't even afforded the opportunity to skim it.
I suppose I should explain it to you then.
Yes, you should. Perfectly in its entirety, if you please.
On the night of September 8th, the embassy staff member was killed in front of the embassy. Mr. Dead Man. Staff member died of shock due to being shot in the heart. Macrell was brought in that night as the suspect and thoroughly questioned, because the murder weapon was found on him, for which he was arrested on the spot.
A simpleton of a man, that's what he was.
I would have done such a better job at murdering him, that's all I'm saying.
I'm just saying, Miles.
Perhaps he was. For the weapon wasn't the only incriminating evidence we had. Mr. Rell was caught in the act on film by a security camera.
He was an even bigger simpleton than I thought. I can't believe he didn't notice the security camera. Amateur.
I would have simply set off an EMP to be able to turn off the security cameras. It's so easy. Why doesn't he have this? Francisca, what the fuck?
Why does your country not have EMPs, Edgeworth? Tell me.
They do. They're just, they're hard to get your hands on. The Cadopian Embassy's security system is supposedly very well designed. You may have simply not been aware that there was a camera in the area.
So, have you seen the content of the video for yourself?
Well, Francisca, no. Do you want to go watch a man get shot? We can go do that. Have a fun little brother-sister bonding day. Yes, the surveillance video the security camera took was played during the trial by Mr. Faraday. You can clearly identify Mr. Rell on it. Even the sound of the gunshot was crystal clear.
So the footage included sound, huh? I don't think I'd ever want to see the moment of someone's death in real time.
Oh.
In real life.
Oh, poor Francisca. Little does she know. Me neither. Mr. Faraday's organizer. It appears that he was in the habit of using it.
It looks like he wrote his strategy for getting Mr. Riddle convicted down in here.
Collected the evidence I need to prove that Rell was the killer. Between the handgun Rell had on him when he was arrested and the surveillance tape, I should be able to prove that he was the one. It appears that Mr. Faraday honestly believed that Mr. Rell was the killer in the case. The sound of his handgun going off was recorded with superb clarity on the surveillance video. I also have evidence that I can use to prove Rell is not the real Yatakarasu. And it would appear that he had proof that Mr. Rell was not the Yatakarasu. No matter how he may try to play it, as long as I can prove the Yatakarasu's K, I can prove he's a phony? Oh, Yatakarasu's key. I read that as K. You can tell how late it is. Oh my god, I was like, wait, what? If I present it to him in court, it should be clear everything up. And apparently also is a very definitive piece of evidence. It's been a long battle. I hope that this will finally bring it to an end. honest, I believe that Mr. Faraday was well prepared to discredit any claim Mr. Rell have made about being the real Yatagarasu.
Hold on a second. I have a rowdy niece to wrangle into bed for a second.
Oh, fun.
Okay, I'm good.
Okay. Oh, it's you.
And you have a way to prove that Mr. Rell was the guilty party in the embassy murder.
This organizer is a clue straight from Mr. Faraday. I'll have to take my time to give it a thorough read later. Alright.
Look, there's a picture stuck between the pages here.
It appears to be a key.
And a rather ornate one at that. Just look at the design on the handle.
It's the knife is the key.
Oh, it is.
No, okay, maybe not. Or I looked at it, I was like, is that a switch around? Like, can you switch it around?
They look similar.
Yeah. Craftsmanship is superb. Could this be the Yatagarasu's key Mr. Faraday mentioned in his organizer?
The Yatagarasu's key?
Detective Bad said something about it earlier. What was different about this time was that the evidence related to the smuggling ring was sent to the police, and the sender was none other than the one who infiltrated the Ethiopian embassy, the Yatagarasu. The evidence. Until now, the Yatagarasu would always publicize any corrupt dealings through mass media. But not this time. The evidence this time was something only Faraday and I, and a select few others, knew about. Okay.
Mr. Faraday must have been trying to keep the secret key safe.
As a prosecutor on both the Yatagarasu and smuggling ring cases, that's to be expected. It's the knife that was used to kill Mr. Faraday.
Who would have thought that such a beautiful piece of art could be used for such a cruel act?
And it's never crossed your mind that you're using a riding crop for the wrong purposes. That's odd.
What is it?
Mr. Faraday didn't mention anything about a knife in the organizer.
That certainly is odd.
The weapon that was used to kill the Cadopian embassy staff member was the gun. But if that's the case, then where did the knife that was used to murder Mr. Faraday come from?
Is it obvious? It was brought to the courthouse by Mr. Rell. That's the only logical conclusion, right?
No, because it's not that easy to smuggle a weapon like that in here. Every person who enters the courthouse door is checked thoroughly for contraband. Edgeworth, he could have shoved it up his asshole, you know that, right? Have you never been to prison? Furthermore, the suspect was handcuffed, making it impossible for him to bring a knife as large as this inside.
In that case, how do you suppose this knife ended up in the courthouse?
I need to think carefully here. There is nothing related to the knife written anywhere in Mr. Faraday's organizer. However, it is a fact that his knife came from Mr. Faraday's evidence bag. Conversely, there is one item listed in Mr. Faraday's organizer that no one is claimed to have seen today. So in order to solve this mystery, I believe I will need to take another good look at the evidence.
Miles Edgeworth, can I take the fact that you have yet to answer me to mean that you don't have an answer for me?
Actually, I do know the answer, Francisca.
What? Then what is it?
One of the pieces of evidence we've been holding has been hiding a secret of its own.
There's gotta be the key, right?
Is it the key? Come on.
Either the key or the organizer. But they said evidence.
The evidence I need.
So I want to say it's the key, maybe. Because no one had seen it yet today. No one knew it existed.
This Yatagarasu's key, Mr. Faraday mentions in his organizer. This is how the knife was brought into the courthouse.
You're not making any sense, Miles Edgeworth.
Oh my god, was I right? Is it actually a knife?
I think so, yeah.
You just need to look a bit closer, Francisca, to see what I mean. Don't the color and the ornamentation of the key's handle remind you of anything?
They do remind me of the knife.
Is it like a sheath for the knife?
It might be.
Very good. Both the Yatagarasu's key in this photo and the murderous knife have this very unique design on their handles. Furthermore, even though Mr. Faraday mentions the Yatagarasu's key, the only object we found at the crime scene was the knife.
You don't seriously mean to say...
It appears that you've finally caught up. And yes, I do mean to say that these two pieces are in fact one and the same.
But that's impossible!
Even if that is what you believe, we should still investigate this possibility.
Yeah.
Now then, let us examine this knife in a little more detail.
Enhance!
Enhance! Yeah, look, there's a little Turner ornament here.
Ooh.
Is this the weapon that was used to kill? It's the weapon that was killed. But fuck, good. The handle and the blade itself both have beautiful designs worked into them.
Look! There's even a flower-shaped design in the gold section here. If this hadn't been used as a tool for murder, I'd want it for myself.
She seems to be drawn to the embellishments. Too bad this time it isn't mine to give. Oh. Ah!
Ooh! I can't believe it turned into a key! Do you think there was such a trick to this thing?
So the weapon used to kill Mr. Faraday is actually the key the Yatagarasu stole. This piece of information is more crucial than anything we've learned up until now. Then, how did Rel know it was the key? Because Mr. Bad said he was the only one that knew that it was him and Faraday are the only ones that knew that this evidence even was this.
Listen, the bad guy. Tech bad.
Oh no. Mr. Faraday only mentioned the key aspect of this piece of evidence in the organizer. It's possible that even he had no idea the key was hiding a knife blade inside.
But if that's true, there's only someone who knew about the key to knife trick. Could have killed Mr. Faraday.
Even among law enforcement, this key was top secret. We're looking for someone who knew even more about the key than even Mr. Faraday. Meaning that the only person it could be is the one who sent the key in the first place. The great thief, Yatagarasu.
Then maybe Mr. Riddle really was the Yatagarasu. And he was the one who killed Miss Faraday. Isn't that one possible scenario?
No, not really. Especially since Mr. Faraday was absolutely convinced that Mr. Rel was not the Yatagarasu. Besides, as Detective Bad said earlier, but wouldn't question Rel about what was sent along with the white card. Rel had no idea what it was.
I see. Alright then, I guess the person who knows the trick behind this key is someone else. And that person is the real Yatagarasu.
Seems that this key is truly the key to solving this case. Good one, me.
Good one.
So... are they two separate pieces of evidence?
Yeah, there's knife and knife, and the key knife.
Key and then the key knife. Keyblade!
Keyblade!
This gun was originally used to kill the Cadopian embassy staff member. When the crime was reported, the responding police found Mr. Bell still holding it, which led to his immediate arrest.
And then this gun took the original shooter's life. How ironic.
Indeed. There doesn't seem to be anything else we can learn from this piece of evidence. That's odd. There's short one piece of evidence. And the piece that's missing is the surveillance video that was played in court.
The surveillance video? How could a piece of evidence just disappear? Where did it go?
The video showing the moment in which Mr. Bell committed the murder. Where could it have gone indeed? Are you done with your inspection of the evidence? I gotta go pee again. I was told I have to watch you guys.
I have a very weak bladder.
However, Your Honor, I am missing a single piece of prosecutorial evidence.
Your Honor, were you derelict in your duties?
What? No, I dare not lick my duties. What do you take me for? No, Your Honor, the most important piece of evidence in today's trial, the surveillance video. It's not among the evidence you laid out for me. But I brought Mr. Faraday's whole bag with me from the crime scene. Someone stole the videotape. And
Someone took it.
That's who the real murderer is. Maybe the tape is still somewhere at the crime scene. It's in the TV, isn't it?
Oh!
Something about this missing piece of evidence. It would appear that for me to find the answers I seek, I'll have to pay another visit to the scene of the crime, defendant lobby number 2. Because remember when we poked the TV, it turned to static. Which is what a VHS tape does whenever it's like, you know.
Wait, is that?
Oh my god.
Look at his hair.
Oh no, is it him? That's Detective Bad, but who's he with?
Oh my god. I've never seen that officer before.
Oh my god.
So, did you find it? No, not yet. And I've looked everywhere. I see. Well then, please continue with the search. Understood. I'll continue the search. Heh. So you're the one running this show. Prosecutors like you shouldn't even be allowed at the crime scenes.
I see, old habits die hard. How dare you? Just who do you think you are? Well, you had to be somewhere here in here. Alright. What was that all about, and who was that man just now?
Whoever he was, I've never seen a more impudent officer in my life.
What you doing, buddy? Thinking. Thinking about what? Oh, you know. All my friends are dead. Been a real shit week, I'm just gonna be honest.
I know you standing right behind me. What do you want, kids? It looks like you were paying attention after all. Of course I was. I have eyes in the back of my head.
And a mirror I look at. So that mirror isn't for vanity's sake. It's for him to keep an eye out on who or what is behind him at all times. So tell me, Detective Bad, who was that rude man just now?
The guy came here. For the Republic of Zing Fa to study. He's Agent Lang.
Yeah! Mr. Sexy.
He's trying everything he can to revive the lost honor of his family. He's traveling to the world to study different philosophies of detainment. Scratch.
By visiting various police departments around the world. A lot of dedication.
He's still just a rookie cop, but I sense a strong grit of some sort from him. The guy's more useful than Gumshoe, even if he is rude. Well, he sure has a lot of guts to come to this country and give prosecutors a hard time.
I agree. However, I can think of one young lady that statement also applies to. Anyway, what was that agent looking for, Detective Bad?
Earlier, that little girl was poking around in lobby number 1 as well. Like I said before, it's got nothing to do with the two of you.
I highly doubt it has nothing to do with me. Fine, if this is the game I must play, then I will take this opportunity to draw out what he's been hiding and what happened in this room straight from him.
That's one tiny TV.
Oh, you rich bitch.
Eh.
Detective Gumshoe was rather shocked at this. He said it was huge compared to his own.
Ha! Anything to compare with his own will always seem grandiose. Grandiose. I'm tired.
Speaking of grandiose, I have to say your ego of yours could use a little deflating. Hey, Francisca, you're short. You're short. You're tiny. You're short. You're short. Look at how tall I am compared to you.
Leave her alone. This is short phobia.
I wonder if the killer used his plastic bags on a flash of inspiration.
With that detective? I somehow doubt he's that quick-witted.
So you're saying that this crime was thought out in advance?
With that detective? I somehow doubt he's capable of making such a complex plan.
Francisca, when will you learn to take responsibility for your statements?
I'm so curious about what the fuck the plastic bags are about.
That is, like, there is so many pieces here that have not been connected, and I'm just like, I just want to get it done.
I know!
Like, last case, everything was clicking together. Like, every time we found a piece of evidence, it was like, ooh, this goes here, this goes here, this goes here. But now we have all this stuff, and I'm just like, we're gonna have to pull something out of our ass to figure out who killed them, didn't they?
What the fuck?
Earlier, you were in lobby number 1, and now you're here in lobby number 2. Where are you gonna go next? Lobby number 3? Maybe 4? You feeling spicy? Gonna go out of order? You are quite the busy man, Detective Bad.
Multiple returns to a crime scene brings about success. That's what the detectives say. And they also say the culprit returns to the crime scene multiple times as well.
Ah, you idiots! You just incriminated yourself. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna grab a glass of water.
No worries.
Step over here to get water. I thirst. All right. I see. In that case, you wouldn't mind if I asked about what happened again, correct?
I don't have anything left to say to you, boy.
You really are prudent about this shit, huh? All right, fine. I'll bite. Boy, you'll see I will draw my answer from you, one way or another.
Would it kill for you to help us in a tiny bit of our investigation?
Yes, actually, I have a horribly crippling heart condition.
I gave Faraday's notebook to the judge earlier. That's help enough, don't you think?
Please, we are asking you for just a bit more of your cooperation.
Don't push me, kid.
I'd like to ask once again about what happened around here at the time of the crime.
I refuse to answer. Any more investigating you do would be a waste of time. Besides, how am I supposed to answer the questions about things I don't know about? Things you don't know about? But aren't you supposed to know everything?
He should. Wait, is it possible? Maybe he doesn't know about the trick behind that piece of evidence. I should try showing it to him. It may prove to be the key to getting some answers from Detective Bad. Hey, yo, check this shit out. Pulls out a switchblade. You want to see a cool trick? Kid, you shouldn't be playing with knives. I'm not playing with knives. Here, what? Check this shit out. He flips it. He flips the knife. Ah, fuck.
You ever seen that, like, Metal Gear Solid where he flips the guns?
Listen, I've been playing a lot of Resident Evil 4 recently. Check this shit out. God damn it!
It's the other one.
Did you know of the existence
Oh wait, is it the same thing?
I
Show it either way?
They're both the key, so like I
Okay,
assume
I
you
guess
could
that
show
makes
either
sense.
one.
Of course I did. It's my job to know everything related to the Yatagarasu case.
In that case, let me ask you something. Did you know that the knife that killed Mr. Faraday and Miss Yatagarasu's cave are one and the same?
What? That's impossible. It looks like you didn't know after all.
This piece of evidence, which is we call the Yatakarasu's key, it's actually a well-camouflaged knife. Mr. Faraday was actually planning to use this Yatakarasu's key to prove that Mr. Bell was not the real Yatakarasu. Isn't that correct?
I guess so.
However, Mr. Faraday had no idea that it was in fact a knife.
Yeah, I have to admit, neither one of us knew that fact. And if neither of us knew, then no one in law enforcement knew either.
So we have to figure out who knew.
How do we miss something as big as this?
I noticed that since a little while ago, you appear to be searching for something. I presume that this key is what you were searching for?
Yeah, that's right.
And why were you searching for it?
'Cause I promised Faraday.
Is that what you sent the kid after? Is that what you were asking Kay to find?
Oh my god.
You're a bad uncle!
I promised I'd protect that key with my life.
Hey kid, I'll give you a lollipop. Just go find that, just go see if you can find a knife for me. Okay, mister!
Okay, mister! But after he was killed, the key disappeared from Faraday's evidence bag. Who would have thought that the key is what took Faraday's life?
Alright.
Oh god, his voice tires me. I'm just gonna talk normally. Just a little more gruff.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how many times I tell you about what happened, nothing will change.
Alright. Son of a bitch. I'm gonna kick your ass. Detective Bad, I ask that you please testify once more about what happened in lobby number 2 and what you experienced in lobby number 1.
My answer's still the same. And this is the last time I'm going to do this.
That's fine, because I only need this one last time to clear everything up. And to find the truth behind this case. Alright, come on.
I was in lobby number 1, talking with you. We were talking about some trivial things. I heard the gunshot right before the trial was about to reconvene. We heard it, you and I immediately dashed out to the hallway together. When I saw Gumshoe goofing around there, and then we all ran to lobby number 2. It sounds like the exact same story he had told us before.
Indeed. However, I feel that we have yet to draw out all the information that we can. We gotta figure out what Costello and him was talking about.
Yeah.
Alright. Why did Miss Yu choose lobby number 1? Answer me.
Who knows? She just said that had something to do with she had something she wanted to talk to me about. Yeah, we walked into lobby number 1 together. That's all.
So his answer remains the same as before, I see. We're talking about some trivial things. I was hoping you could expand on what exactly you were discussing with Miss Yu.
Trivial stuff. It was nothing important.
That's for me to decide. Alright, I suppose that's for him to decide. Moving on. Had the gunshot right before the trial was about to begin. Until you heard the gunshot, did you notice anything else that was out of the ordinary?
I didn't hear any other strange sounds until that gunshot.
The gunshot Detective Bad heard was really the one from the murder. That would give the other piece of evidence an entirely different meaning. I ask that you please amend your testimony with the statement just now.
Sure.
I didn't hear any other strange sounds until that gunshot. So he didn't hear Kay's balloon pop. Detective Bad, you honestly don't remember hearing anything else.
Yeah.
Is it possible you were so involved in your conversation that you missed something?
I've been a detective for a long time, and even if I were involved in something, I've gotten quite the habit of keeping tabs on everything that goes around me. If there had been some other strange sound, you'd be sure I would have heard it. Unless the rooms are, like, soundproof.
Or he wasn't in the room.
True. So the gunshot.
Alright. silly
We
man.
ain't playing.
Oh, you silly, silly man. Don't you understand? Don't call me silly. You wonderful man. Detective Bat, does this balloon fragment remind you of anything?
It's the same color as the one Kay was holding. Oh, so you knew about that girl's balloon? Yeah. I was sitting with her up in the gallery. During the recess, just before I split up, I filled that balloon up for her.
Well, as you may have already surmised, this piece did indeed come from Kay's balloon.
So, what about the balloon?
I wonder if you might remember hearing this balloon pop at some point.
What are you getting at?
This fragment was found in the hallway right in front of lobby number 2. Furthermore, it was the sound of this balloon popping that the judge mistook as a gunshot.
Oh? So the sound that the judge heard was not actually a gunshot, huh?
If he was able to hear the balloon popping all the way on the other side of, like, across a courtyard, they would be able to hear it in this room.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
On top of that, his honor said that he heard the balloon pop. About 20 minutes before the trial was to reconvene.
Yes, which means that his honor heard the balloon pop in the hallway. When you were in lobby number 1, Detective Bad. And if you were in lobby number 1 at that time, you were close enough that you would have heard the balloon popping as well.
So?
What? Don't give me a so!
We just proved that there's a flaw in your testimony. The crackling of the truth is louder than the sound of your sweet naivety cracking. And since your kids don't seem to know, let me fill you in on something. Did you ever stop to think why the doors and wall of this place seem so rugged? That's because they are designed to keep secrets from being linked. Are they actually soundproof?
How the hell did you hear a gunshot?
But what is that supposed to mean?
He heard the gunshot because the windows are open.
Oh. The doors and the walls are super thick. The window panes are double layered. Top it all off, even the curtains are made of a special sound-absorbing material.
Then you mean...
Since I was shut up in lobby number 1, there's no way I could have heard that sound. No!
I knew that's what he was going to say.
Then that means the scruff-faced testimony is completely useless. If the rooms are soundproof, then of course he wouldn't have heard signs of a struggle.
No!
That's also why it's solely natural that I didn't hear the balloon popping. Now do you get it, kids? Miles, I thought we were supposed to be the ones finding flaws in his logic.
Collect yourself, Francisca. Collect yourself. I got this.
Not the other way around.
The other way around. It's not possible to hear the sound of a balloon popping if we were in lobby number 1. However, if we examine the situation in reverse, a person standing in the hallway should not be able to hear the real gunshot either. And yet Detective Gumshoe claims to have heard it while he was standing in the hallway. Detective Bat, if that's the case, how exactly did you hear the gunshot?
What do you mean, how? I just did.
It would appear that you have yet to realize the contradiction in your own words. All 3 of the windows were open.
Yeah!
So he still could have heard it.
Ooh, that's right. Oh? How so?
If the rooms are as soundproof as you say they are, then how did the sound of the gunshot enter your ears?
I see what you mean. I guess I'm more out of it from Faraday's murder than I had thought. Which means what exactly, Miles? In what end does it all boil down to?
It boils down to this: there must be a reason as to how Detectives Bad and Gumshoe heard a gunshot they theoretically couldn't have.
It looks like we need to examine the state of the crime scene again, huh?
It's the windows! The windows are open! Can it be? That ultra-strong perfume you wears. She spilled some of it. Oh, are we getting like the big piece it all together logic moment?
I think we are.
The way too noisy! The surveillance video. How could a piece of evidence just disappear? They heard the gunshot from the videotape!
Oh!
Because remember, they mentioned that the videotape had the gunshot sound.
Oh my god, that's right.
Okay. Which order do I need to do it in? It's simply not possible for the killer to have escaped through barred windows. And yet the fragrance of the perfume managed to escape from defendant lobby number 1. Of course, incorporeal things can move freely through these open barred windows. That's a weird way to put it, Miles. It makes it sound like I'm talking about ghosts.
Ghost?
Oh shit.
Oh shit.
Can't see a clear connection between these two pieces of information.
I guess it must be the guy allowed television open windows.
Now then, what else besides a smell can go both in and out of an open barred window? A ghost. Casper, you son of a bitch.
I'm bringing you down for the last time, Casper.
So, no matter how careful the killer was, if the windows were open, the jig would be up. And since the windows in both defendant lobby number 1 and the hallway were open, that explains how the sound of a gunshot could be heard in both locations. Missing evidence in the gunshot could be heard. The missing piece of evidence is a video. That shows the moment in which Mr. Rell killed the embassy staff member. The sound of the gunshot left quite an impression on me when it played during the trial. The video should have been returned to Mr. Faraday's evidence bag for the recess, and brought back here. If it disappeared after that time, then it's possibly that the tape is still here in this room. Eureka! The evidence, the missing evidence created for me. It's the gunshot sound that no one should have been able to hear in the first place.
Miles, what have you been thinking about?
Tell me, do you know about ghosts?
That son of a bitch Casper again?
I knew it.
Stop wasting time thinking and let's start looking again.
It's not a waste of time to think, for I have figured out where we should look.
And where would that be?
I believe we should examine the television.
The TV? Well, you kids have fun. Go ahead and examine whatever you like.
Now, Francisca, do you know how to rewind a tape? That fucking VHS player, you son of a bitch. There seems to be a videotape inside.
It looks like it. The tape must have been stopped on its own when it reached the end.
This tape, could it not be the missing surveillance tape?
I suppose, but...
Detective Bad, would it be alright if I verified the contents of this video?
Sure, knock yourself out. Alright then, let's rewind this and see what we have. If I remember correctly, the footage of Rell killing the embassy staff member should be at about the 30-minute mark from the start of the tape.
Gotcha. This should be about right. Now then, let's see.
This is the footage of Mr. Rell shooting the embassy staff member.
Then... was he actually killed a lot sooner?
Because if that video was playing and they died earlier, they would have heard that at the 30-minute mark.
So he must have died before the 30 minutes. That's my guess.
Same.
Were they using the TV to cover up the noise, not realizing the room was just soundproof?
Maybe, I don't know.
Because then that would explain... Because Gumshoe was like, yeah, we were only there for like 20 minutes or something.
Mm-hmm.
Because the balloon popped 20 minutes before the trial started back up. So that leaves a 10-minute window. But I don't know how long Gumshoe was there. If he was there for all 30 of those minutes, then like, who the fuck slipped in?
I don't know.
I knew it. The missing piece of evidence. The surveillance video was here all along. Give me that shit.
Yeah. This sound. What's the meaning of this?
It appears that Detective Bad has figured out the true source of the gunshot he heard. With this, I think we can figure out the trick behind this double murder.
Do you mean that you figured it all out then?
Yes, all I have to do now is show what the gunshot Detective Bad and Gumshoe's heard was, and through where they heard it from.
Nyeh. Fine. In that case, show me what you've deduced.
Now, to show what the gunshot Detective Bad and Gumshoe heard was, and through where they heard it from. I won't rest on. Okay, so deduce. They heard the gunshot from the TV. This piece of evidence. Oh, wait, okay. No. God damn it.
Ah!
Calm down, girl. Earlier, when the detective Gumshoe touched this, it made a most terrible racket.
Give me this.
I'm just reading. I'm just pushing through this text.
That's fine, that's fine.
I don't think the detective Gumshoe actually touched the television at all. Furthermore, oh, when a video feed suddenly, so the footage just randomly stops.
Huh.
Like it hit the end of its tape. Just as with the spilled perfume in Lobby 1. If the windows were open, that piece of evidence sound would dissipate out. Now to show what the gunshot detective found. So do I need to say deduce out the window?
Maybe? That might be it.
Don't judge me.
Are you saving on a real 3DS?
On a real Nintendo DS?
Yeah.
Alright.
There we go.
The door and the windows of the crime scene, namely this room that we're in, were closed. This room that we're in right now, this room, lobby number 2 was closed right here, right now. The killer could have used the gun and no one would have been the wiser.
That's true. This courthouse does seem to be well designed for such a thing, as it were.
However, what happened in reality was Detective Gumshoe, Detective Bad, and Miss Yu. All 3 of them heard the gunshot.
Well, the windows in lobby number 1, number 2, and the hallway were open. So naturally, the people in those locations could hear it.
But then why would the criminal open the window in the first place?
To allow the gunshot to be heard, I suppose.
Correct. That's the only logical conclusion we can draw from this. My only other thought is that someone showed up, killed 2 of them, and then just set the VHS to play.
Could be. But why was that necessary in the first place? I want a real answer, Miles. I demand satisfaction.
Very well. I believe that the killer wanted to manipulate our perception of a certain fact. Time of death. The killer wanted to fabricate the time of death to their precise wishes, and they used the gunshots in the surveillance video to do so. This theme slaps. It's the objection theme.
So that's why the tape was left running. You mean the gunshot I heard was from this video?
Oh. Yes, which means that the murder really occurred at an earlier time than we thought. It must have been during the recess, but before Detective Gumshoe was on guard duty. Someone who has no alibi for that time period and planned this crime out in advance. Is it you?
It might be.
Oh, that skank bitch.
Oh.
2 defense attorneys gonna die tonight.
Because she was already there when, like, Bad got there, right?
Yeah. Mr. Edgeworth. Yeah, what is it? Miss Yu was asking for you. She's in the courtroom. She says that she's identified the murderer, but that she wants to clarify something.
It looks like Miss Yu is still investigating something.
Understood. Please, tell her that I will be right over.
I'll come along. I want to hear what she has to say.
It would appear that the time has come to
Get that
uncover the
skate
truth.
bitch.
Alright, let's get this shit, homie.
Why would she, like, kill them, though? That's what I'm wondering. I guess maybe, like, for revenge for her sister, but that's, like, more of, like, a thing, like, she blamed Bad for, right?
Wouldn't you want to, like, kill maybe the person that killed your sister?
I know. I don't get it!
I have a feeling we're not gonna get all the answers by the end of this trial, or, like, by the end of this case.